But they'll figure out how to blow it. They always do.
Put that in reserve and just.
They're going to be where we are in a few years.
From Erie's own Government Access, Channel 9, from the City Hall Council Chambers, it's time once again for the Taxpayers Hotline Show. And now, ladies and gentlemen, your host.
There we are. What a shot, huh? Wide-angle lens it takes. Councilman Kaz Kwiatkowski with his good friend.
DJ.
And
Mr. Stemka.
Oh, it's Mr. Stemka now.
I got promoted.
well, you come off the injured list.
I'm going on the injured list.
Oh.
Again?
They're doing that knee tomorrow.
Oh.
I could do it for you.
Yeah, we got some tools.
That's all you need.
It's about all you need down there.
That's all you need. A hacksaw, a couple probes. We'll take care of you.
A mallet. Not a rubber mallet.
We got the X-ray machine over there. We can.
There is an
Hey, we'll run you underneath that and see what's wrong.
What day we were going to pull that thing out here and fire it up and run Ron through it and just get an X-ray of it.
It's probably not shielded properly. It wasn't real good when they.
No. I'll buy that thing off you guys if you want to sell it.
I think they donated to us.
What's that lift?
Yeah, I'll take the X-ray machine.
They ever use that lift?
No, they never did. It was donated. I think that was from the airport. It was old technology. It was donated.
Don't forget, we build it and we're there. Come, remember that.
But sometimes they say gift horse is not everything. How do you get rid of a problem?
Eliminate.
Bury it, put a stadium on top of it, or give it to someone.
Yeah.
That's the way they do it in Erie. Cover it up. Cover the mistake up.
Every town they do that.
Yeah, but Erie's really out of sight.
Oh, it just seems that way because you live there. That's all. Things are personal when you live in a community.
Yeah.
It's getting worse, too. When GE completely moves out of Erie, what's going to go on with the tax base?
Well, pardon?
The tax base in Erie when GE finally moves out. What's going to go with the tax base?
What's going to happen?
But
Go down the toilet, ain't
but
it?
why are you always doom and gloom?
I mean, it's the only guy you got in this town. Tell me a new story. Tell me a shop's coming into Erie. That's what I want to see.
There's two things wrong with this town that I discovered this week.
Oh, you did? I know.
One is they think they're Pittsburgh. That's all you read about is we're a Pittsburgh clone. Okay? Geez, I mean, we worry about whether the Penguins are going to win the Cup. We worry about what they're doing in Pittsburgh. You know what? You need your own identity.
But Erie,
You need your own identity. You can't tie yourself to another city, and then this doom and gloom is all because you sit there, and I've watched it for years. Sure, it's going to get bad. It might even get worse, but you know what? At some point in time, you got to dig your heels in. It's like when you're playing football.
If you get the right people,
when you get down to the 1 yard line and they're pushing you, you have two choices. You can roll over and let them score the touchdown, or you can try to fight back. Okay, but this thing about Erie, we have no identity.
we don't. Erie's a tourist town. Boy, 3 months out of the year.
We're not a tourist town.
That's all they got on their mind is tourism.
Tourism is a big component, but we will never be a tourist town. I was in Savannah, Georgia. Okay, they got nice weather all year. All right,
they could do it.
Around here, you got to close up Waldemere. Okay, right?
Right. Okay.
So that means you have to come up with innovative ideas like Nick Scott did, which is you open up an indoor park. Okay.
Yeah, that's great.
But you can't, do that with a giant park all the time. Okay. So
there are other things we're going to be able to do. I really, really feel like we could be good at tourism. If this is what everybody seems to want, don't make it all about tourism, but make your tourism the best it can be.
See, where we screwed up years ago, and it's easy to say that now, but when we were an industrial center,
very much.
we always took the peninsula for granted.
Yeah.
We never thought about, well, we didn't have to because most people got their living from working in the factories. But that would have been the time to say, imagine if Pennsylvania, way back then, had allowed Erie to be the weird city. I'm going to use that term in a different way. How about if we were the Branson, Missouri of Northeast United States?
Yeah.
What if all of a sudden they said, and what was Branson? Branson was nothing.
Now it's big.
Yeah, now it's big, and so was Las Vegas nothing until people went in and figured out
They tore all the old stuff down, put new stuff.
how to put air conditioning in there and all that. That's what.
Yeah.
and build a few casinos where nobody wanted them. So what if somebody in Erie had said, our biggest liability, which is we're between Cleveland, Buffalo, and Pittsburgh, and that hurts us.
We're dead center.
As much as it helps us, it hurts us.
Yeah, it could help us more if we would just,
Sure.
get on the ball and actually
Why
put some more stuff in.
Why does IKEA, Bass Pro Shops, and all them stay outside of big cities? Because they like to grab big markets.
Yeah.
That's what we could have been. Go ahead, caller.
Could have.
Ask you a question.
Yeah, we were waiting for you.
When I was growing up in the 50s, we had air conditioning. And you know what our air conditioning consisted of?
Well, and the card was keeping the window open, throwing those little port windows.
Yeah, we had the card in the window, and then we put the ice in a bucket and put the fan in front of it to blow the air conditioning.
There you go.
That was using our heads, right? Now, do you know there's a new eatery coming in the Summit?
Pardon?
There's a new restaurant coming up in the Summit
Well, which one's that now?
called the Eatery.
The eatery.
The Eatery.
Yes,
Who's running it?
right above by Adam's Bicycle Shop.
Oh, who's going to run it?
I have no idea.
Well, it didn't come to Erie, though, right?
It's for Erie, but
I'm still waiting for that grocery store to come to Southeast Erie again.
yes.
You're going to have a
Too bad
long
we
wait.
can't get the prices right over there, huh?
Yeah, well, somebody's got to start doing some.
Well, you got to get the chamber
Marketing.
getting behind it. You got to get the county executive getting behind it. I saw her on TV the other day saying this $40 million they got for the windmill project is going to bring jobs to Erie. Don John, or whatever that's called down there, and Lawrence.
Yes.
Now, what are they going to do for windmill energy? Can you tell me?
Are they going to manufacture
They make a lot of hot air by themselves.
Parts, I guess, she said.
parts?
Yeah, that would be. Well, they're big. Windmills are huge out in the Midwest.
The windmills are so far behind time, it's a joke.
I mean, we don't even have them up. Like when you go out to, I was out in Iowa one time, and Illinois, southern Illinois, and they're all over the place.
Last summer, I went for a drive in the Midwest, and they were everywhere.
Yeah, huge.
It's not just the Midwest; they're here. If you just go straight north, take 90, go up around, take the QEW, go around the lake, and it's just wind turbines all the way around the lake,
Yeah,
especially on the west
They got
side.
two more in the city of Cleveland than we got in all this area.
Yeah, and it's something that I think that we could move towards.
Do you know who subsidizes those windmills?
Who?
Ooh.
The consumers of electricity.
Yeah, well, we subsidize everything, John. You know that.
They're not making enough to be effective.
Well, no, they're supposed to be subsidiary. Now, if you're when I was out in Iowa, they were running pretty good.
Well, how high do they got to be?
Oh, they were high. I don't ask me to tell you, but I mean they were not these little things like the
And those blades, have you ever been by one when it's running?
Not really.
Not really. I don't want to be. What do they do?
The old helicopter crack, whop, whop, whop?
Yeah, that's it, huh?
They make a lot of noise, and they're unhealthy for people that have problems.
Well, they tell you those power lines are unhealthy for you too, though.
Yeah, but they don't make the noise.
No, but it's a silent killer. You find out
Yeah, it's supposed to be an EMF.
you've been radiated for all your life.
Yeah.
How about solar energy?
Do you know there's a new one? It's shaped like, the Horn of Plenty cone?
Yeah.
There's one out like that will be 10 times more efficient than the windmill type.
Well, they even got some in the bottom of the ocean. I forget where they put them.
Australia was working on something.
I have no idea.
Yeah.
But to think that she says it's going to bring jobs, I can't see it.
I was an early proponent of wind energy when I played baseball.
Yeah.
I always made sure the wind was behind me when I hit one.
Yogi Berra said that if you don't catch the ball, you're in trouble.
There you go.
About 212 feet is the average.
212, he said. You hear that,
212
John?
is the average height for one of those.
And what is the base of the block to hold it?
That I don't know. I'd have to dig a little
How
deeper.
many tons of concrete and steel?
Yeah.
And where are the batteries to store this energy?
Yeah, all of those are components of wind energy, and I think, needing all of those components could lead to more jobs, because you need people to manufacture all of those components.
Yeah, most of the manufacturing is up in, I can't think, there's a little town up in Ohio. What's that place used to be Kaiser now? I can't think of the name of it. They were making the shafts, like propeller shafts.
Yeah. I don't know. I think, with GE, everybody says, some people say they're not leaving, some people say they're leaving. They're going to leave. They've made the plant in Texas. They're moving out slowly.
Well,
We could manufacture right here. GE has all of the land and all of the buildings that could be modified, and we could manufacture bits and pieces and parts and go into concrete manufacturing. We could do everything local, and we could bring a lot more local jobs in.
They had MFG in Union City. They could have made the proponents.
Yeah. So, it's possible to bring stuff back. I think industry is not dead.
But we don't have our chamber working for us.
Yeah, we do need everybody on the same page.
Don't have the redevelopment office in Erie working for us.
No, they don't. And you know what? Where in the heck was I that?
Of course, jobs aren't to be made by government.
Well, government can only do one thing, and I keep saying this. They can create the atmosphere or destroy the atmosphere.
That's true.
But ultimately, it's companies look, and you know what? It is what it is. If you go down in some of the southern states, we all know the reason why they're doing what they're doing down there.
Sure. It's cheap labor. There's no lot of expense for heating.
Right? They less restrictions with the law.
But, if you go down to Mississippi, they don't work a full week.
Just alone what Erie Brewing said indirectly, without
Moving out of Erie and going to Harbor Creek.
yeah, and but then again, you wonder.
Why did they leave Erie to go to Harbor Creek?
Well, John, it's amazing how we always had high taxes in the city, right?
Yes.
But to me, business goes where they can make money. In other words,
With our high taxes in Erie,
Chicago's got high taxes, yet they still get a lot of business.
our biggest problem here is the nonprofits. They have to
That's
start
true.
taxing them.
Well, that's part of your problem, because the people who have money, and Buki's report proved that, if you ever needed proof in your life, it was there for anybody who wanted to look it up, but this guy was hired to do what anybody could do, which is basically go down to the Census Bureau. And at one time I had those tracts in my possession. I was a test subject for the census, so they let me have all the data, I asked for it. And they would show you tracts all over the county, to show you everything in that tract, population, age. And when people with money, the middle class as it existed then, moved out to the suburbs, isn't any wonder that the restaurants and businesses followed. You know what I'm saying, John?
Oh, yes.
Now, if we still had 130,000 people in the city, or 120, Erie Brewing stays. The taxes don't bother them. But because everybody is out in the perimeter now, and they indirectly said that, they wanted to be near the marketing area and everything, so read anything you wanted to that statement, But, look, we don't get anything new anymore at all, hardly.
Our tax base is getting like the old saying, what happens when a bomb hits the well?
See, the thing is, John, if we had more, and you hit it on the head indirectly, if we had more people living in the city and more businesses doing business here, without the nonprofits taking up the big chunk they do, then your taxes don't seem as high because they're spread out over a larger. It doesn't take a genius to run a township like Mill Creek or Summit where things are going well. And Erie was like that too at one time when we were building on a building boom in the 30s.
True. When they
the
find
20s.
out they need a fire department, a police department,
He just built it.
and the taxes start going up, they'll be screaming too.
I have questions for John and for Kaz. In the term of nonprofits, you said we want to be a Pittsburgh. So how does Pittsburgh deal with nonprofits? Do they let them all just not pay taxes?
Well, they're in the same shape as we are, actually worse.
Pittsburgh is going to be starting to charge service fees for the fire department, the police department. department,
To the nonprofits.
to the nonprofits.
Well, then we
Well,
should
something-
follow suit. We
Some
shouldn't
things
wait.
they can do, John, because they're a second-class city.
We still
Yes, they can
because
do
we're
that,
third.
but being a third-class city, all we can do is get an old mayor to represent us.
Well, what we have to do is the third-class cities have to either, when we've been trying, and I, like I say, I battered poor Pat Harkins to the end of time and Flo Fabrizio and Sean Wiley the other day, but I keep telling them we need some reform. We can't have these tax exempts doing what they're doing. I mean, it's just,
The election year, you see, they all showed up at that sit-in down there in Harrisburg with the school kids. Other than that, they wouldn't have been there.
yeah.
That was a joke.
I got one quick thing about GE. You know, they're negotiating this layoff and all that.
Yeah.
And I guess one of the management side said GE productivity is no good. I mean, it's good, it's there, but the quality is not there. You know, I know a bunch of people that worked at GE, and they used to tell me they'd get tickets so far ahead, they'd throw them in their locker and wouldn't turn them in. But what got to me was the quality. Half the pieces that they made would not pass inspection. And then they wonder why they want to leave town.
Well, they had incentives there at one time. They did away with the incentive and put them on day rate. So productivity dropped 20%. That's why the people got lazy, because why should you work? You're getting paid by the hour. 20% is a lot of productivity going down.
Piecework.
Right.
And they had pieces that so far ahead that weren't quality, but that was it. They were getting paid for non-passing products. That's why the armature division left. That's why washers left and everything else. That's why the train division is leaving. Well, I'll let somebody else get on. I'll
Okay.
talk to you later, Cass.
Thanks,
Hey, John.
Bye-bye.
11 and a half minutes. I got a message that said it was 15. I was like, nope, it was 10. We got time.
And what's going on with the school district now? That one fellow said, why don't you start charging them for their insurance, make them pay? He said that'll give them the $5.5 million they need.
Yeah, that's Mr. Roy.
Yeah.
Look, I always used
I
to...
worked in the shop,
Yeah.
and I got stuck. Okay, I worked 42 years at a shop here in Erie, and they just said, okay, 401k, okay, that's what you're going to. You're not on a pension no more. Okay, your insurance, we're dropping your dental. Boom, that was 20 years ago.
Well, let's go into depth on that. Number one, when you talk about the pension was in good shape until Tommy Ridge.
Yeah, big dumb word, yeah.
He allowed him a loophole that they all took.
He knew about it.
Sure, he did. Now it's unfunded. Okay, that's a tough thing to get back. Once you get it in the unfunded status, it's tough to get back.
But they negotiate the contract every time.
Who does?
District negotiates a contract with the school board, right?
Well, the pension plan in the teachers is not like the city. It's run out of the state. Okay, every public school, that person is under the same pension plan, just like the state police and the state workers.
Right, they're all the same.
Yeah. All they do is they send a bill to the school district every year.
That's wrong.
That's how they do it. We never negotiated. When I was on the school board, they just told us, here's your bill, okay? They run the plan, okay? Right or wrong. Now, you're getting onto another subject. You'll get no debate out of me about possibly, yeah, you're gonna have to be realistic with the health plan, okay?
They have to.
But even if Brad Roy is right, so, okay, you save $5 million.
Hey, you save $5 million.
This
that
year.
Would take care of our $5 million right now.
This year. But
For now.
it does not take care of the system,
But don't forget that $5 million rolls in every year.
yes, but what also happens every year, systemic, that's the word it does not take care of the systemic problem. The problem is the funding formula is wrong, has been for years. But can local school districts do a lot more? Yes. The problem is the state has to do more. The state has to stay out of the pants, yes, you heard that, stay out of the pants of the local school district. All these programs that they mandate but do not fund fully falls on the taxpayers. Now, give you an example. For right or wrong, Erie gets a disproportionate amount of the immigrant population, which needs services. Okay? You don't have that same level when you go out to Cranesville or maybe, Edinburgh, General McLean.
Just here in Erie.
Huh?
It's just here in Erie.
Well, they get the disproportionate share, and it comes down to the fact that these people they're not going to be able to live out in some of those other areas. You're not going to see them go to Fairview.
No.
Okay? Not right away unless they come from, where they have some nice jobs, okay? So it falls on the city. Mr. Roy, he can say all he wants. Yes, you can save that $5 million this year, but the problem keeps multiplying every year.
But you got to start somewhere. Let them
but don't think it's
to do it.
all right, let's start with the state. Let's let them live up to
Like they don't need liquor control liquor bar stores. These people
why? They make money.
They're making money, but they could go to let the public take care of it.
No, why would the state give up a cash cow? You know what the problem is when you sell things? We sold them here.
Yeah.
Okay? They give you a prime example. Mill Creek don't know what to do with the $12 million. Okay? They're going to get $12 million up front and $1 million a year for 10 years. Right? What happens in 10 years?
Money's going to be gone.
What? That's what happened. I mean, we sold the water department here, you get a little money every year. You sold the golf course, you sell this, you sell
They're
that.
selling everything.
Yeah, well, that's all one-time solution, okay? That's a one-time.
The water department should have never been sold.
You're right, but that's a one-time
That was
solution.
our cash cow right there.
So you go to Brad Roy, and his solution is, okay, so you tax it. That's fine. You'll take care of that problem for 1 year.
1 year. What's 1 year? We
Hey,
got to look
but
down the road. Not
You're
now.
still not tackling the problem, which is the state of Pennsylvania has to look at their funding formula. You can't reward communities the same amount of money for less students and the same amount of money for more students.
What are these state legislators doing to try?
Nothing.
They're sitting on their fat
Nothing,
asses.
'cause they
Every
don't-
one of them.
Here,
Every one of
You want
them.
to know the math? You want to know the math? I'm going to give it to you straight out. How many legislators are there in Erie County?
5, I think.
Okay, not counting Sean Wiley. He's a senator, okay? Let's say 5, right? On the state level, you're probably right, 5. Hold that thought, and I'll tell you what the problem is. Go ahead, caller.
You were talking about businesses and stuff. That Southgate's opening back up, but it's under a new name, Skyline or something like that.
At the restaurant?
What was that? The new restaurant, you mean?
Yeah, that one that closed, that Southgate Pizza and Restaurant.
They got a divorce. That's,
Oh, you mean in Erie?
Yeah, it's right
in
across
Mill
on Grandview there.
Oh, no, he's talking about the one that's in Mill Creek right across from Grandview.
yeah, right there.
Yeah, they calling it the Skyline now?
Yeah, it says on the windows, opening soon, Skyline Restaurant and Pizza.
Well, that'll be good. There'll be another alternative up there at least. I wish they'd been on our side of the border, but what can you do?
Yeah, well,
Well, we got to get these legislators to get their head out of their ass, especially in the city of Erie. These politicians sit back.
There's a lot of empty fields in the city here, I can tell you that.
They're coming down every day. Look around at Lipchick's going crazy tearing houses down.
Well, but thank you for that call, sir. Okay, here's the math. Ready?
Okay,
5 legislators.
right. How much do they get paid a year?
I don't know, but
Let's say 75.
okay. But I'm saying here's the problem. How many of those legislators, okay, are from the city?
That live in the city.
No, represent the city. 2.
East side, and the white-haired guy, what's his name?
Yeah.
Low.
2.
and Pat.
Okay, so let's say you can even add Mill Creek in there, that's 1 more, so 3. But basically, there's your math right there. You're outnumbered. The city is outnumbered. Okay? Now you go to Pittsburgh, same thing. You take all the legislators in Allegheny County and you take the ones out of the city. Now you get it down to the legislature and you take out Pittsburgh and Philly and all the third-class cities. Right? And you add up the rest of the legislators, and what do you think's going to happen? There's more that are from suburban areas, right?
But
That is your problem, okay? They don't care about inner city schools.
Erie County's on an island all by itself.
Yeah, but
the state don't give a shit.
Yeah,
what
but don't
goes
even
on
worry,
here.
don't even worry about Erie. That's another problem, the location. But think of all the cities, and you think they represent a lot, but they're outnumbered by the legislators. Those other legislators that come from pick your poison.
Okay, Lock Haven.
Yeah, anywhere that doesn't have a major city, and what I mean by major, like Reading, York, Erie, okay, 60, like Erie, you got basically Mill Creek and the city, but Mill Creek don't really jive with the city as much. They're more of a suburban community, okay? So you got you go down to Harrisburg, what do they care about? What do they care about public schools and inner city public schools? They don't. So they don't fund them properly. Brad Roy can talk, and he's right. Yes, he is. That would take care of some of the problem, but it's not the systemic problem.
Yeah, but it's a start. It's a start.
Well, why don't we start the other end where it makes more sense, okay?
What makes more sense?
More sense? Like, let's come up with a good funding level. Let's have the state stay out of our pants with all these programs that they know local communities can't fund. It's nice to say we should bus every kid here, there, and there, but that's not reality, okay? Mm-hmm. It's nice to say you should have this program and that program. It's not reality. Unless the state's going to fund it. Local communities don't even have a say whether they want to do it or not. The state comes down and says, you shall, and then you got to fund it. I mean, do I agree with... I would look at, Jay Baddens brought up, when it gets to the point, Union City too, and you have to start thinking about cutting out, activity. Basically education is about one thing: school and teachers. Okay, everything else is extracurricular is nice, but at the end of the day, it's nice, and I don't like to see things cut.
But you have the same people on the school boards you did when Richard Barker was in there. Most of them.
I don't care who you put in there right now.
But you got total mess.
You can go in there. You can go in there right now and cut everything you want, but the bill is still going to be there next year. Okay.
How much of the deficit did Barker leave the school district in?
I wasn't there. I mean, at the end,
the school board at the time.
not when he got out, I couldn't tell you. Okay. And here's the thing. The laws have changed that. What do you think? When you look at Baddens, he brought up a good point. Okay, here's General McLean. Less kids getting the same amount of money every year. They can pump that money into football, into computers for the kids. We're getting more kids and less money. Well, the same amount of money, but less per kid. How does that make sense?
It doesn't make sense.
And yet they're shipping more kids in there all the time. You're reading the paper.
They're foreigners, right?
I'm not against them, okay? But it is something you got to look at, all right?
How many foreigners came into Erie within the last 5 years?
Well, I think the mayor said the last count with the Census Bureau alone, when he challenged them, was 6,000 or something.
There was 10,000.
Well, it was about 6 on the one count, but over the years, I couldn't tell you. I mean, I don't have
You go to school, here you got...
You are probably right. There's probably been an influx of... You got to remember, for everybody that moved out, the immigration population is keeping us where we are, so it'd be fair to say that over the years...
What are they doing? What are they bringing into Erie? They have no jobs. They don't make any money, and they're on welfare and everything.
You got to look at the federal government.
Handouts. The president.
The
That's the
federal
idiot
government
president we got.
The federal government. Uh-oh.
Someone must.
We got to turn this down.
Yeah.
You want to take over a second?
Oh, sure. Well, I think you got to stop blaming it on foreigners coming in, because they're here legally, and they're going to be American citizens. They have potential. You're wondering what they're bringing in right now? They're bringing in potential to be upstanding citizens.
These kids, the American kids, are getting ran over by the foreigners. Like, if you go look at a job,
you know,
the foreigner...
you sound prejudiced. It's not.
I'm not
they're
prejudiced.
Not foreigners.
They're
here.
I'm
they're
looking at the kids that are American citizens, black, white, whatever.
Right.
Yeah.
They're American. Here's two of them looking for a job.
Yes.
This foreigner gets it before they
It's
do.
not a foreigner anymore. They're here in America, and they're going through the process.
Yeah, don't be
Americans.
Don't be like Donald Trump.
Don't be a Donald Trump.
I'm just picking up.
Don't be a Trump.
I go up to Walmart every day. and Kmart and those places.
Up to get them, Mark?
Wait a minute. There's signs all over the place. All right? I don't see a lot of kids going out there to try to get jobs. When I was a kid, the first thing you did,
We're a different culture of people.
the first thing you did when you got out of school was, when you got a little older. When you were young, you played baseball. Well, when you got older and you decided you wanted a little bit more out of life, all right, you tried to get a job. Gas station, remember? Grocery, what was it? Like the A&P and stuff like that, right? Be a bag boy, all that stuff, remember?
Kroger's, remember Kroger's?
Yeah, you'd be a bag boy or a cart guy, right? You work for whatever you could get.
Yeah.
When I got out of college, kids were looking for. I go down there and you know what? A lot of the people that came here from these other countries are taking those jobs. Yes, you know why? Because they went down there and they asked for
They
them.
ask for them. They're not as lazy as kids that have been here and they're spoiled and
The way they're
they don't
brought
want
up.
to work.
Oh, the way they were brought up.
They want to be here. Well, that's
There are
not.
kids that aren't taking
I
advantage.
mean, that's a
of that.
societal issue, but I mean, one of the other good things about refugees is that they want to be here. Any refugee I've ever met has been a lot nicer than
This is
people that are
why,
here.
if our
Because
government's
they
going
want to be here.
And if our government's going to bring those people in here, and the state is going to determine you're each one of those communities, then you know what? You can't sit with your thumb in your mouth and your nose and
And
everything
we're doing it.
out there in the county and say they don't have any empathy for the city and our school district. You know what? How do we pay for it? Okay, it's easy to say, and I read all the articles. School board's incompetent. Jay Badams is incompetent. The guy
Jay
before him was
Badams.
incompetent. You know what? You got a problem, okay? You're going to pay for it one way or the other, all right? You're going to pay for the problem one way or the other. And if you don't want to fund public schools, you come up with all these crazy ideas about, farming out charter schools and doing this and that. But the bottom line is, if you don't tackle the problem when they're young, you're going to pay for it when years later, and you wonder why things happen. Yes, they don't have, a lot of them come from single-family houses, but, there's a lot of kids that deserve a chance to go to school. We should not even be talking in this country, supposedly the greatest country in the world, and we have poverty and school systems that are failing, falling down because we can't decide, we can't decide how to fund them properly.
Like when you were a kid, I was on surplus. They used to give you surplus food.
Yeah.
People lived on that stuff.
Yes, they did.
Okay? And it came up. Now, you go get a voucher, you go to McDonald's and buy a hamburger. That's why
wrong.
it's so far out of
Yes,
whack.
that's wrong.
That's wrong.
Yeah, that's.
Nobody's questioning you there.
It's just that the whole system's got to do something different.
I'm all in favor of giving people that need food.
Well, I'm 100% for that, but not give them a hamburger. Go up to Erie County Farms, load up your cart with
well,
a
should
prime
be
rib,
produce,
$500
yeah.
bill,
Well,
We're talking produce
our
and a free phone.
Our system is broken. It has been
that is
for years.
broken. That needs to.
But you know
Free
what?
phone. You're paying for it, and you're paying for the.
But you know what? It doesn't matter which party's in office because nobody's changing.
If people vote for Hillary, is voting for the same baloney.
Hey,
We're not-
none of that on here now.
Oh, but
We take no sides on this show.
Yeah.
I seen a good movie yesterday. You know what it was? 13. You know what that one is?
Nope.
Benghazi.
You know what? You watch too many movies.
No. Hey, you go watch that one.
I'm going to ask you one question,
What?
okay? How much time you have on your 214?
What's that?
How much time is on your DD 214?
I ain't telling you because they told me some other stuff I can't tell you.
Well, you weren't even in the military.
Hell, I was the Army Recon.
Well, then you had some time on there?
Oh yeah.
Well, then don't watch the movies. You know they're not good.
Yeah, but this is.
No, I watched it too. It's not. Come on.
You see it?
I watch it with a grain of salt.
Okay, but like I said, this whole country's screwed up. We gotta get somebody that's strong.
They have yet to make a movie that's realistic.
But just say, okay, you watch it, you didn't see it, you don't know what's going on. But to take an ambassador, strip him, and drag him down the road, it was bull. She gets a phone call at 3 in the morning. Call me at 7. Hey, you guys are getting killed.
We don't know all the facts.
Well,
And
some of
you-
you,
And you and I will never find out because we're not in the loop.
No, we're not in the loop. We're out of the loop.
Ron, if you think the system is broken, I mean, what real point is there to just sit around discussing it and complaining about it when you should actually get up and go do something? If you think there's a problem,
there is a big problem.
Go.
You get on the radio here, and people. A couple of things I brought. No one just lets them go over their head. Let the city fall apart. I don't care. I'm getting my food.
What bothers you the most?
Yeah.
Me? The elderly not getting paid. That goes, okay, you get the Social Security check, and the woman calls up, hey, is my Social Security there? Oh, because I got to get some food. And they're waiting for that check so they can eat. Them are the people I worry about, you know? But the other people getting handouts and everything else, food, phones, like I just got done saying. What about the old people that got the house to pay for? And when was the last time you got a raise in your Social Security check? Huh? 2 or 3 years?
Have you written any letters about this? Have you gone to any congressmen and stood up and given your
I want a
opinion
case.
to them?
I just want a case.
That's what you need to do. You need to do more of that. You need to go to these people, and if you have problems with the system, you need to go to the system and try to fix it.
Remember I told you about Plan D? You could penalize for not taking it? Well, I won the case. And they send me a letter saying you won your case, she don't have to pay it, they have to reimburse her. Plan D, if you don't take it, you get penalized. Not just a one-time deal. This is the rest of your life.
Yeah.
So let's say if you got $10 penalty, right? That's $1,200 a month, a year, right?
Yeah.
Okay, divide, no, it's $120. Okay, in 10 years, that's $1,200, right? And the government, why should you pay it? It's a penalty. The government shouldn't be penalizing you for that.
Yeah.
If you made a mistake, don't pay it. But they'll charge you more. They'll take it out of your paycheck.
But you took care of it.
I did. I didn't go over, say, buddy, take care of it. I went and got straightened out.
Well,
And right now, like I said, Plan D, if anybody's turning 65, they must have it. If they don't have no insurance, you're going to get screwed. Pay the penalty.
You know what you can do next time is bring in some contact information so we can give it to the viewers, and then they can call about it and fix it for themselves as well.
Well, like I said, they can call Toomey. Call his office right now and explain your problem, and he'll take care of it.
This is called D. What?
Plan D.
Plan
It's
D.
prescription plan.
Okay.
If you don't have no fun, okay,
Yeah.
and you go get you're 65, they'll penalize you the rest of your life, not just a one-time deal.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't know that. Did you know that?
No, this is good information. This is what we're here for.
That's what.
Get it out there.
And I won a case, and I'm.
Let's go to a lighter note.
Okay, what's the later note?
Good information.
Yeah, what was your question you didn't get answered last week?
Me?
Yeah.
Oh, you think I'm going to remember what I asked last week?
You were supposed to.
I can't remember. I didn't have. I'm writing on toilet paper now because I keep forgetting to bring my stupid book. I don't remember what I was asking last week. I'd have to
Let
go
me ask
back
you
and
a
watch the
question.
show.
Last weekend, I was downtown, the Rib Day, Saturday, about 8 o'clock. I'll bet there was only 100 people in the square. 100 people.
Mm-hmm.
8 o'clock at night,
Yeah.
For Rib Fest.
the Rib Fest.
Oh, you too, huh? You guys.
I forgot to turn mine down.
But anyway,
Yeah.
Bad turnout.
didn't they even cut the grass? Then on the new part over there, it wasn't grass, wasn't cut.
Well, maybe in defense of them, it could be. You're talking about the east part?
On the west side.
The west side?
The west side where the grass was not cut.
Well, I think I heard the reason why they didn't want to use that park. They're trying to get I'll find out for you. Not making excuses. We have the people to cut it. They usually do. I'm thinking they probably have been trying to get that grass to take seed a little bit.
Well, the grass was cut this weekend.
Yes, but I think they're letting it. I was told the reason why, because I had questions about why they didn't use the new stage. It's because the city really didn't want it yet until the park grass gets set and everything in there, so they wouldn't have it, bare spots. Go ahead, caller.
Hey, Kaz, little idea to run by you.
Go ahead.
Encourage industry to come into town. let's say the water authority would, I don't know, maybe the first 5 million gallons of water be free. Would that be outrageous, or for any big industry that might employ more than 500 people?
Well, they do have a rate. As I understood it, the sewer and water rate was different for large corporations like Hammer Mill and GE. So even though like when Hammer Mill moved out, it's no secret we have a lot of excess capacity now in the sewer system. But I do believe they were metered, number one, for affluents and water long before everybody else was. But I do think I could ask Mr. Wojtek, but I think they had a special rate for them because they bought in volume. So I don't think you're far offline, no.
No, Kaz,
Yeah.
if they could get that out there, that's going to catch people's attention.
Well, that's what our marketing people are supposed to be doing. I mean, you would think, I shouldn't say that. They should really be, they should know which programs. We have programs like I heard the gentleman talking about why they moved out to Harbor Creek. We have similar programs here. Like where if you want to build, there's tax exempt.
Oh, Wiley moved out to the county?
You know what? But this gentleman brings up a point. Our people in economic development, both on the county, the
How
city,
many people are involved?
they should know that these programs exist.
How many people involved in it? The county, the city, Mill Creek, don't they have some? How many people are involved in that and they won't do
Let's
nothing?
go ahead. Let's this
I'm
gentleman.
listening to this guy. Go on.
Are you still there, sir?
Kaz,
Yeah.
just give me 1 minute here.
Yeah.
If they would just do it, that's going to catch like Miller Brewing or Budweiser. It might get some kind of food processing company in here. Just say, hey, 5 million gallons free. Just put it out there. Do it. Just do it. That's going to catch people. That's going to catch big business attention. I guarantee you, that's going to catch big business.
I always wondered what the reason was Miller didn't come here the first time, and they never really said that.
Once we get 500, 1,000, maybe 2,000 people working in some factory, we're going to reap the rewards.
Mm-hmm. But to
Some
get them
people are
here,
going to come back into the city, the water authority, they'll make their money back. They'll make their money back because we'll have more people living here. We're not going to have all these dilapidated houses laying around. Maybe, somebody's going to start building houses around here or move back into the city. We'll reap the rewards of giving away free water. It makes sense. It makes a lot of sense, and they ought to just do it.
Yeah, that would be up now. It would be up to the Water Authority Board, but I'm sure if they were prodded heavily by local government, they might, that could be something that could be marketed. Because there are various programs we have, but apparently either they're not enough or nobody's really pushing them.
well, how come they left Erie to go to Harbor Creek, the brewery on 12th Street?
They said they had tax incentives. We got a lot of them in the city. And we got a lot of empty land, too.
A lot of empty land.
Thank you, sir. But, that bugs me because, we have these incentives all over.
I know we offer all sorts of tax incentives and all these plans and things. I don't know what LERTA is. That's something we do to offer.
Still have a lot learn. What is it? 8 years now?
It used to be
10.
Yeah, and then they at one time Flippy was here, was the whole city, and then now they put it down to like target zones,
Right.
and then you got
There's different acts and stuff, and there's some sort of Sunshine Act. Is that something that we're offering? I don't know what.
no
that is.
Sunshine
I've
Act.
heard that.
That's
Something else.
open
Okay.
meetings, but
Oh, okay.
there's Keystone opportunities. There's all kinds of stuff. I don't even know which ones are.
Yeah.
Some of them are out now. Some we still have old money into.
So are we not taking these things out and saying?
Well, I
hey,
think Ronnie brought up for one time. He brought up a good point, where I won't argue with him. I said this before. We got a shotgun approach. We actually, it looks like we got so many people firing in all directions
Yeah.
instead of having one targeted assault on somebody. Like when you go to a business, they're probably being pulled by Mill Creek, by Summit, by county, by the city, and everybody's got their own vested interests. Let's be truthful.
Yeah.
Like big, remember Bob Plain?
When huh?
Remember Bob Plain? He was supposed to be the big white hope. That guy was the stupidest guy I ever
Well,
seen.
Ron, you got to look at, number one, who pays these guys, okay? You look at Ralph
County
Pontillo.
exec.
Ralph Pontillo's paid
There's
by...
another project. I don't want to get opened up on him.
But, okay, what you mean about Roaring the Shore?
Everything, yeah.
Yeah, we can go into Roaring the Shore. You know, you go into, he's paid by the manufacturers. Somebody's paid by the chamber. Well, who is the chamber? You got to look at who the chamber is. Everybody thinks it's, who's the people behind the scenes that are paying the bill? Do they have a vested interest? It's amazing, like when you watch a business come here, and like Wegmans, it's on the line of 2 townships.
Right.
Okay, so you got all these entities. This is why Pennsylvania has so many entities, so many townships and boroughs. When you go to like where Roanoke, Virginia is, you got a city and you got the county.
Right.
You got Salem, you got the county. You got maybe 2 cities in the whole county, the rest is all county. So you're not dealing with multi-layered duplicity. So I mean, like when we lost Erie Brewing, you got one guy, and God bless him, there's Mr. Pepicello, and he's happy as pie. You know, it's good for Harbor Creek. Well, it's good for Harbor Creek, but it's not good for the city. And see, that's the problem. Everything we do is parochial. I mean, everybody talks about regional government. That's fine when we share regional government in its entirety. You know, you don't just give it one side all the crap and the other side gets the good stuff. And that's what regionalism is about, is that everybody shares a little bit.
They don't share it.
Well, no, I mean, we're all competing.
Erie's by itself.
We're all competing against one another.
Exactly.
Okay? So we lose Erie Brewing, Harbor Creek makes out. Mill Creek gets a new restaurant, we don't. You know, what's nice for having one on the other side of Grandview doesn't do that. Well,
It's in Mill Creek.
as far as the city benefit, it doesn't help. I mean, but it's good for the people who live in the area. And that's what we have to start looking at. But the problem is, when we don't, everybody's looking for, there's got to be a way that the region shares
Well, it hurts
all these problems. In other words, it can't be, okay, if you want to put all the social agencies and everything in the city, then everybody in the county has to divvy in somehow.
That's right.
Okay?
What did what's his name call this when you put them all together? We combine the county.
Metropolitan?
No.
Regionalization?
What's his name? Your buddy had the stairway.
Who?
We used to be on talk radio all the time.
Oh, Mark I. Finley.
Mark Finley, he said, put them all together, and people don't want to hear that.
Well, he's right. And here's the thing, though, but it's got to be done in a fair way, okay?
Right.
It can't be like, I read in the paper there's a superintendent from, I'm trying to think what district now, and he says we all share in the city's plight because their problem will be knocking at our door shortly.
Well, you see.
Okay, and he brings up, it's not about Jay Adams not doing things right or the board.
I think
It's about a system. It's about a problem that is happening all over the country. Cities are collapsing under their own weight. Did they do things wrong? Absolutely. Does that mean we should pile the dirt on them more?
You know what's hurting Pennsylvania? Main thing, the right to work state. We do, we got to have union. As far as I'm concerned, like Seventh and French, that's the biggest losing union I've ever been in and ever
Well, you know what?
want to be in.
If that's the way you want to go, you got to remember, business is not,
That's why
businesses alone have screwed people too. They're all out there. I'm amazed how, GE, spouts off about loyalty and everything, right? And yet, they're worried about the bottom line too. They're not worried about Erie.
Oh, they don't care about nothing. But
No, I mean, when they made money here, that was okay, fine, These companies are just as bad. They talk about the unions being bad. They're doing the same crap at the other end. Outsourcing to Europe. I mean not Europe. Outsourcing to offshore. Time Warner, you call it for a technician. You get some guy that's.
can't even understand what.
Well, he's reading out of a book. He's reading the Queen's English. I'm not saying it's bad, but that's what I like about it. Well, I don't know if Charter's holding up their end of the bargain, but they said, we're going to create jobs in Virginia. Well, at least it's in the United States.
Yeah.
But we have to get together and start trying to get work in this city.
It's going to be tough. I mean,
Well, if you get the mayor, now when GE was shutting down 3 years ago, the city knew about it, the county and the state knew about it. Where were they then when they were talking about shutting GE down? None of the now all of a sudden the school district, now they're popping out everywhere. Oh, we got to stay where schools. How about the 2,000 jobs we just lost?
we almost lost. If you think Erie's alone, a few years ago when I was on the board, Iroquois School District was in trouble. Okay, GE had moved out pretty much a lot of their buildings. Remember they tore them down? Iroquois was in trouble.
Well, look at now. You have in Lawrence
still in
Park
trouble,
and,
but-
in Westerville, they're trying to combine now.
Well, because,
The workforce, and I mean the police department and the fire department.
well, doesn't that tell you, Ron, doesn't that tell you something? Is everybody incompetent? How about if we dumped all those things out in Mill Creek and Summit? How about if Summit didn't wake up and have a casino out there? Now you seem to have to hire some firemen, right?
Yeah.
Like I said, something's got to be done
So what do you want to do, go about roaring the shore or something? Or?
with the raw insurance. Yeah. Where's all that money going? They talk millions of dollars. Where's that go? In the pockets of the
Well, they give
bartenders.
They give some to charity, I know that. But, they're,
They say it's what, $30 to $40 million that
They're private, you
flows
can't-
through the city, but who really?
nobody knows that.
Yeah.
One time my buddy and I, we used to work for the parking authority, and we were sitting there thinking about all the people that come downtown. And at one time, we were sitting there, and there was a day when baseball park was going, the arena was going,
Yeah.
Warner was going, Playhouse was going, Gannon was going. It was a real mess downtown.
Yeah.
The kind of mess you like, though. The kind of mess you dream about.
Yeah. Big city mess.
Yeah, thousands of people down there. So we thought about it.
I got back to going that rib fest last Saturday. There was nobody there. Where was the problem? Not the people being there. Too expensive, the ribs?
Well, you have to ask yourself, Ron. I'm not a rib man, okay?
Oh, I am, but
So you're asking the wrong guy.
Only one place I go, and that's up on Peach Street.
Yeah, I like ribs once in a while, but I'm not a rib man, okay? I'm not a festival man. I admit that freely. I'm not carnivals and all that and festivals, that left me years ago, okay? But I can't tell you why people didn't come down. I could tell you it's probably a product of a lot of things.
But that was kind of bad,
But I can't tell you what it is. It comes back every year, so apparently they're happy.
I don't think anybody made any money doing that.
I don't know. But it's interesting. The Erie Reader did a study about the effect on local businesses when this happens.
Yes.
When we close down streets and
Yeah.
they found out that the lady from Tickles back in 2014 said her business dropped off 50%.
Yeah.
And I know I used to talk to a good friend of mine who was in the restaurant business who has since, instead of having multiple locations, has cut it back and kind of shifted his location. Now, is that due to that? A little bit. Okay, a little bit.
Yeah.
Not enough maybe to move them originally, but when you start adding up pluses and minuses,
Yeah.
if you're a bar, you probably make out on all these things,
Oh, yeah, no one's making any money is the bars.
Well, when you look at them, they're all set up that way. Let's face it, okay? The Rib Fest is not just about Rib Fest. It's about entertainment. So entertainment is beer. Beer is, who's going to make out, what local businesses are geared up for that. If you're a restaurant that's kind of high class, or if you're a delicatessen, maybe you don't get the business you did because...
Look at the Plymouth Tavern. 50 years it's been there. And still going strong.
Well, but you got to remember that Plymouth Tavern is a combination, okay? They are not only the restaurant, but they got a liquor part of it.
Right.
There are some places that are heavy in food and not so heavy in liquor. It's a compliment to the place, but That's not the way it's set up as. It's not like, years ago when you went to Hector's, there was a restaurant added on. You go to Plymouth, there's a
That down, shut
there's a
down?
tavern with a restaurant added on.
Hector shut down?
I don't think so. It was open a little while ago, but not as, different ownership.
You know what I want to talk about?
What?
Tourism.
Yeah, go ahead.
If this is going to be about tourism, if they're going to constantly try to push industry out, if we're going to do tourism, we have to do tourism right. I just spent the weekend at Cedar Point and Put-in Bay, and they know what to do. They have strengths, and they work on those strengths. We have to figure out what our touristic strengths are and work on them. We have to work on our congeniality, how we treat outside people coming into the city. We have to get more things that are available in the wintertime because tourism shuts down in the wintertime. We need some indoor activities that will attract people.
Well,
we do need a better movie theater, and we need more indoor things like Nick Scott and his water park. It's fantastic, but we need a couple of things like that down here
the bayfront.
on the bayfront.
What do you see as the, like when you said that, what do we...
I have a master plan.
I mean, what's the biggest thing on the top of your list that we don't do?
I don't think people see us as open and willing to change. I think when people come to Erie, they remember the days back to the railroad when Erie was the cause of the railroads not touching each other. You got to stop in Erie and get on a different size train.
See, I just got back from Savannah.
Yeah.
And
we're just not nice,
It was-
apparently.
it was very pleasant to watch people that, even the locals, because now what you're doing, 300, well, down there it's like
Yeah.
almost 360. You're going to be put in a bad situation every day of your life.
Yeah.
You know that.
No
You
matter
know.
where you are.
You know that driving's a pain in the butt.
Yeah.
Just like it is around Disney World.
Yeah.
You know that. Okay.
That's bad.
But I mean, that's the things you put up with. Okay.
You have to put. If we're gonna let people push out industry, we have to let them bring in the tourism, and we have to put up with the fact
think
that
both-
being a tourist town is a pain in the butt.
I think both can cohabitate properly.
It can happen.
But
I
if-
think industry can still happen.
You remember the old days going down the peninsula?
Not really.
Well, the bridge, remember the bridge was very narrow before the state expanded it? I can remember it was a pain in the butt. Getting on that peninsula was a pain in the butt. So was all the side roads,
Yeah.
We
But
didn't,
it's okay now. We have that. We're going to work with what we have.
But I mean, people, although they were grumpy, you just got up a little early, and you remember, Ron?
yeah,
You
they dealt with it.
you just got up and dealt with it.
And
But
this is what I've noticed with. I mean, I was in, like I said, Put-in Bay, and they know how to deal with it.
But people
And
ain't-
they're
Yeah, but they've been
pretty
doing
nice
that
about
for
it.
years.
Well, then we have to just start. I mean, we can't just keep going on this closed-minded, reactive instead of proactive course that we've been on for the number of late.
and here's where it starts now.
We need.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead. We need to move forward instead of standing still.
Everybody, your people in the city, including the public safety, the people that work in businesses have to all be trained to be a little bit, people are, let me start with the premise that when you deal with the public, they are a pain in the butt,
Yes.
They sure are.
okay? But it's your attitude. Like when you go to Disney or you go to these places that are geared up for that, you know they're giving you a fake front, but that's okay because
They're nice to you.
they're nice to
How
you.
you doing? How
And you
much
try to
do
be
we
nice to
do?
them because
Right.
you try and tell them, look, I know you're being nice to me because you got to be. So I'm trying to be nice to you, But
Yeah.
sometimes in Erie we don't show that side.
No, and
We
just-
do at
yeah.
times, but
It's hard to say, but we just have to be nicer because we look very close-minded from the outside world. And I say this because I'm an outsider myself.
see, like we got to get out of all these. I mean, we got to start getting. I think we got too many festivals that are designed around one way.
Yeah.
I like the other things we do, like the wine festivals out in the Northeast. That's good.
Right.
That's a whole different, topic. But strictly, entertainment and beer, that goes so long. So,
Oh, one topic I forgot to ask you, the roads.
what?
The streets, where are they doing? They're doing Davison this year? They're finishing that up?
I should have brought it. We'll see if they got one in the back.
And Marion. I want to see what Marion's getting.
Marion's on there, I think.
I hope so. They need it. It's been
I think
about
Marion
years.
and Davison were both on there, but I don't know how far.
Davison just got done a year or two ago.
You can go on the internet, but we'll go in the back room and see if they got one.
We got about a minute left, and with that, I'm going to close with touching on what you said, how tourism and industry can cohabitate. Habitat, what's the...
Cohabitat.
Habitory? I don't know.
If they don't,
Yes. We're living in a day and age where you can buy a printer this big that can three-dimensionally print an item. And you can take that item, and then you can make molds of it, and then you can take that and process that into a product, and then start making a thing. So we need to start leaning towards bringing more industry back because it's in everybody's garages now.
Well, you have to, because if you like, I was reading a story about Orlando, and they say if you look at Orlando, you think everything's nice.
Yeah.
The land of Disney. Mm-hmm. But the workers that work for Disney, sometimes 3 to 5 of them have to get the same apartment.
Yeah.
Because they don't make a lot of money. So,
The fire department, they make real good.
well, there are some people in Orlando that can't go to the Orlando Magic games because they can't afford it, okay?
Well, can you really afford hockey games here?
Well, no, but I mean, the people that tend to go to it are the tourists. So you got to kind of be careful when you go to a service economy because they don't pay like, the same way that manufacturing does. And I agree with you. We got to start growing local businesses. And what I mean by that is when you got a company like Smith's Provision, I mean, you don't want them to go off the board and get so big they get bought out.
Right.
But that's the kind of companies.
Now, they stayed in here, you gave them a good tax break and everything. Smith's,
They stayed in Erie.
We gave them some in the city here to, build some cooling buildings and all that.
We just have to not be one-tracked, one-minded. We have to...
We're doing that because we have no choice. We've lost the other segment.
And on that note, thank you for joining us today. I am leaving now.
I got to ask.
Ladies and gentlemen, you have been watching the Taxpayers Hotline Show on Erie's own Government Access, Channel 9.